corner of the galaxy lies the planet Drooma. The Droomerians live in vast crystalline cities. The Droomerians are a tiny people who are so small that several could stand on top of a penny. Despite their small size, they had starships at a time when humans had just discovered fire.
Oga, Nathi Jaina. Hey, I just discovered fire.
Their starships bring them vast wealth. The Ministry of Science oversees all exploration. One day, a Droomerian named Shinba was summoned to the ministry. Shinba was told that she would be given command of an expedition to a newly discovered world whose inhabitants called their planet Dirt. Shinba was told that Droomerian scientists had been studying the planet Dirt for many years. The dominant species were called humans. Their technology was primitive. This species was fierce and warlike. To better study these aliens, Shinba was told that her crew would live aboard a gigantic robot that was designed to look and act like a human child. Disguised as a human, the robot could then explore the world. Captain Shinba spent a year supervising the construction of the robot. In time, the robot was finished. Outwardly, it looked like a human child. The interior included work areas, a dormitory for the crew, washrooms, and a dining area that was filled with fresh fruit and vegetables. After her crew boarded the robot, Shinba had it loaded aboard a transport. The transport flew away from Drooma, heading towards the planet Dirt. After reaching their destination, the transport readied the robot for landing. Within moments, Shinba and her crew had been landed in a forest clearing. Seated within the control room, Shinba ordered the robot forward. "All systems are blue," smiled the systems engineer as the robot strode forward. It was not until the robot reached the edge of a clearing that anyone realized that there was a problem. The crew gasped in shock at their first sight of live humans. Although only 400 years had passed since the Droomerians had last visited the planet Dirt, it would seem that clothing styles had changed. Of greater concern to the crew was that human technology had also changed. Everywhere the robot looked, people were using wireless technology. As the robot moved forward, the crew saw strange-looking motorized vehicles driving upon the street. One such conveyance nearly hit the robot. After ordering the robot out of the street, a police officer asked why he hadn't used a crosswalk to safely cross the road. Thinking quickly, Shinba had the robot point at the red brick building.
"Oh, so you're one of those kids?"
asked the officer.
"Are you a student at the Stratham School for the Gifted?"
The officer escorted the robot to the administrative office. Within the robot, the bridge crew was busy analyzing the audio recordings. The Droomerians were surprised to learn that the English being spoken was at least 50% different from the English that had been learned by the last expedition.
"May I help you?"
asked the receptionist. The officer and the receptionist gasped as the robot boy offered an old-fashioned bow. Shinba and her crew sighed as they realized that customs had also changed over the past 400 years. There was a pause after the officer explained how this student had nearly been hit by a car while jaywalking.
"Oh,"
exclaimed the secretary.
"Are you Gunther Schmidt, the new student from Germany? We weren't expecting you until next week."
"Welcome to the Stratham School for Gifted Children,"
said the headmaster who shook the robot's hand.
"So, you are Gunther Schmidt.
Asked Dr. Stratham.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?"
"Do you speak German? He's speaking 2 languages?" muttered one of the crew members. He quickly gave directions to the language AI.
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch,
replied the robot. Later that day, Dr. Stratham had a school assembly to introduce Gunther Schmidt to the rest of the school.
"Why is he wearing such strange clothing?"
asked one of the students.
"It might be traditional German clothing,"
said the other student.
It did not take long for the other students to realize that Gunther was different from the other students. One thing that was different about him was that he talked to animal. He also spoke Elizabethan-era English.
"How art thee, Drom range give?"
asked the robot boy. Rumor said that Gunther never slept. Nobody had ever seen him enter a bathroom. Some students wondered if Gunther might be autistic like Beth. Others joked that he was a vampire. In the cafeteria, the students watched Gunther eat a single cucumber for lunch. From the Droomerian point of view, the cucumber slice that the robot had eaten was massive that it filled the cargo loading bay that was at the end of the robot's mouth. The single cucumber slice was enough food to feed the entire Droomerian crew for 3 days. In the robot's first class, after another student told him that textbooks would cost an arm and a leg, he unscrewed an arm and tossed it to his classmate. Inside the robot's head, the crew panicked as the onboard AI reported a social failure level of 100%. Beth and Melvin watched as the students panicked. By the time the rest of the class had fled, the robot had reattached his arm to his body. "What are you?" I asked.
I am a normal human issue, just as thou art a normal human issue. Shall we speaketh as normal human children doth?
Came the odd reply.
Warning.
Shouted Melvin.
Danger, danger. This is not human being. He has a metallic and ceramic skeletal structure.
Waiteth, I cullionly thee nay harmeth.
Exclaimed the robot. I puzzled out his words to mean that the stranger meant me no harm. The robot explained who he was, where he came from, and why he was here. As proof, Gunther opened his mouth. When I looked closely, I saw Captain Shinba standing upon the robot's tongue. Our talk was interrupted by the arrival of a campus security guard. "Emergency!" shrieked Shinba.
Evade.
The robot child turned and leapt through the nearest window. Eyewitnesses gasped as the child broke its fall, hovering above the sidewalk on blasting rockets. As the robot child ran down the sidewalk, it was pursued by a police car. The communication officer activated an emergency beacon. The transport captain heard the emergency. The transport returned to the landing site. Shinba was relieved to reach the landing site. While the robot made good its escape, back at the school, the receptionist was surprised when the real Gunther Schmidt arrived at her office. So far as I know, the Droomerians were able to escape. I now wonder what other alien races might be out there. For now, all remains peaceful.
If you enjoyed this video, please support this channel by clicking on the like and subscribe buttons.